Deontay Wilder, they knew he wasn't going to win, so they're trying to get him, Wilder, as insurance when he loses to Usyk. Now, the Wilder fans, they're going to say, yeah, that is so true. The fact that Wilder is getting up there in his mid-30s, and he still thinks trying to defame Anthony Joshua's name is some kind of winning strategy to make him a great heavyweight. It says more about him and the fan base, about how immature they are. You know, how did the giggly man become the face of manhood? How did that happen? These are men who believe laughing at people is them progressing in the world, and the people they're laughing at are failing. If they did send an offer to Shelly Finkel, you need to be a man and say, either you want to take the fight or you don't. All of this is classic 2018, why the fight didn't happen. And, you know, they didn't believe he was going to win. They did believe he was going to win. Yeah, not 100%, because what is 100%? Did Al Heyman believe you was going to beat Tyson Fury the second or third time around after watching the first fight? No. But regardless if they didn't believe you, they've got to try and find opponents beyond the Tyson Fury fight. They're mapping out your career, just like they're mapping out Joshua's career. The fact that Wilder gets more pleasure in watching Joshua lose rather than him getting in the ring and putting that defeat on Joshua is an issue. This is a man talking about their suits in the game stopping fights, when rather than just commit to a fight with Joshua, it seems like he wants to go back and forth with Joshua and Eddie Hearns. You can't say suits are stopping fights. And then you pulled out of the DAZN deal. And either you or your fans were saying, oh, we didn't take the deal because Joshua wasn't included in the free fight deal. Only for you to say, you know they were going to pay me more at DAZN to fight Joshua than they were going to pay me to fight you, Fury. Huh? And look, I'm not going to do the receipt thing. The receipt thing is pointless. Yeah? You can't win the receipt game. You cannot win it. Whether it's Wilder or the fan base, you can't win the receipt game. It's lost. It was lost a long time ago. So I don't want to hear about suits stopping fights when Shelly Finkel was saying you was a baby when you could have fought for Undisputed against Vlad. I don't want to hear that. And then you had another opportunity to fight for Undisputed against AJ, and you didn't take that. The reason Wilder fought Tyson Fury in 2018 is because he saw the state Tyson Fury was in. And he saw that he couldn't knock out Pianeta and believed in his mind he couldn't punch. And he got outboxed in the first fight. And in the next two, he got knocked out. That was a cherry pick that went wrong. You know, when Wilder was coming back this time around, I was really hoping I could avoid these videos, the receipt videos. But he brings it back to receipts, pulling up receipts on his deceit, on his fan base's deceit, on his media who support him deceit. They always bring it down to this level here. It was Shelly Finkel who was saying that the Joshua fight is a good fight regardless if he loses or not. Why are you bringing it up that, oh, they only want the fight because of this reason? What the fuck does it matter why they want the fight? The fight is worth a lot of money. Are you going to take it or the fuck not? Let's stop playing games. If you're going to moan about suits, let's stop boxers playing all these cryptic shit like there's some mystic mega or whatever. It's bull fucking shit. The suits. Who are the suits? You're not talking about Eddie Hearn because he's made you a few offers. Who are you talking about? Al Heyman? Must be Al Heyman, because let's break down the facts. Under his clock, Wilder has scuppered 2 undisputed opportunities. So you've got to be talking about Al. Who are you talking about? Frank Warren? I don't think so. He's in the UK. He ain't really doing shit in America. Who are you talking about? Bob Arum? Nah. He gave you 2 Fury fights. Who are you talking about? Eddie Hearn? How much offers has he made you to fight Joshua already? He even stepped aside so the DAZN deal would transfer through smoothly, and you didn't take it. How much offers did Eddie Hearn offer to PBC fighters to fight Joshua and many other fighters? You can't be talking about Eddie. You got to be talking about Al. Then it was the Tyson Fury thing. The interviewer asks Deontay, what do you think about Tyson Fury retiring? Deontay says, oh, I think he's going to have to retire. The interviewer says, for legal reasons? Yeah, but I'm not going to say too much. All this coded nonsense like he's really intelligent and knows shit that you don't know. The only people that that's of interest to are the nutters who believe that you turned down the deal because Joshua wasn't in the free fight deal. And DAZN, we're going to pay you $120 million to fight Dominic Brazil, Luis Ortiz, and Adam Karnacki. $40 million a fight to fight them. Them nut jobs actually believe it's true. Get some common sense. Eddie Hearn was responding to Shelly Finkel, saying that they want the Joshua fight regardless if he loses to Usyk. So Eddie thought, okay, the lines of communication are open again with him and Shelly. So he tried to get in contact with Shelly. There was no other reason than that. All this bullshit, they knew Joshua was going to lose. And they were using you as insurance. Get over yourself. You and all your betting on yourself nonsense. And of course, Shelly doesn't respond to Eddie Hearn. He doesn't respond after declaring during the build-up to AJ and Usyk 2 that this is the fight they want. This is classic PBC clout chasing. Every time Joshua is having a fight, you see Wilder and Fury jumping in front of cameras and any mic that's available on some clout chasing shit. I'm picking Usyk to win because Joshua's a broken man. Maybe. We saw the outburst post-fight, but he didn't blame his trainer. Paranoid that his trainer was sabotaging him. Paranoid that the referee and Darrell and even the suit he wore in the ring was against him, and egg weights. So I guess we have to decide amongst your fan base and Joshua's fan base who is more broken. Just a matter of opinion, innit? We know what your side's going to pick, despite the preponderance of evidence that you was a little broken after you promised to make the white guy a Black History meme and get beaten. Then you started twerking after that. You know what I mean? You weren't broken at all. I mean, everything was roses, I guess. You weren't broken at all. Loaded gloves. What else was there? Anything else? I don't know. Maybe I'll have to do a part 2 to cover all the excuses. I want to big up Tony Bellew for addressing Simon Jordan. And it's all about freedom of speech. Simon Jordan is allowed to voice his opinions, and it is what it is. But I've heard this guy constantly critique AJ's resume, and I don't think he really understands or knows how good AJ's opposition has been. I've heard him knock Chris Eubank. I heard him talking shit about Kell Brook before he fought Amir Khan. I've heard him talk shit about Derek Chisora. These are all people who have helped British boxing. They've all contributed to the success of British boxing in the last 10, 15 years. And this guy's just knocking them. And I'm not saying it should be all praise, but some of the stuff he says, what he says about Derek Chisora. Derek Chisora never said he's a flagship, blue chip prospect or contender. He's a warrior. And the fact that you want to down him all the time, you're a journeyman. He's not a regular journeyman if he is a journeyman, right? And now we have Jamie O'Hara joining in. And in all truth, it's making TALKSPORT look like a bit of a joke when they talk boxing. It really is. You're making it look like a bit of a joke. And I'm not going to advise TALKSPORT to get boxing people in like Ade to talk boxing, or even Laura Woods. I'm not going to advise them to do that. They know what they're doing. They're trying to trigger people. Like Simon Jordan is asking why Tony Bellew is triggered when he knows he was brought in there to trigger people. You haven't been brought in there because of your boxing knowledge. You have no boxing knowledge. You or Jamie O'Hara. You're using boxing as a ratings grab by saying controversial shit because you have nothing else to contribute to the boxing topic of any knowledge that any kid listening to can use. It's simple. I'm done. I want to big up Mateur, Borderlique, come with the swashbuckling French style from the Southwest Dance. And it was good. It was good. Outsized by Callum. Did Borderlique get emboldened by his success, which influenced him to take maybe a few too many chances so early in the fight? Or did Callum draw him into the brawl? I guess a bit of both. Borderlique was slick, had some very slick moves, some slick feet. I saw the slick feet from the open workout. He slipped and rolled a lot of Callum's shots and came back with some great backhand counters. Beautiful to watch. I was informed by my very knowledgeable subscriber base on the Hangout that Borderlique had a very good amateur pedigree, and it showed. But Callum, after a few rounds of jousting with the Frenchman, decided to go to his torso, bang him up on the ropes hard, and the Frenchman was still having success. But the power gap now favoured Callum Smith in trench, phone booth warfare. Callum's catch and shoot is very underestimated. It showed up again. He caught the right hook from Borderlique and still managed to get enough motion in the counter where he flattened the Frenchman with his own left hook. Callum went back downstairs to the body, and then the left hook finish in the fourth is as brutal a finish you will see at 175. I said in the hangar, he's looking like the white Bob Foster at 175. Callum catch you with that chin, it's lights out. I tell you what, man, so far so good in terms of entertainment value and punch power at 175. There's a lot of people watching Callum Smith saying, maybe if there's a belt on the line or something, but what's the point right now? We'll wait. Borderlique, if that knockout hasn't taken too much out of him, it would be great to see him come back, but we'll have to give that one time. Way too early to talk about Borderlique getting back in a ring and matchups and such, but he did look good up until the point he came with second, trading with Callum. Great knockout by Callum Smith. People taking ZHILEI for a joke, a passing fad, or a phase with a rope. ZHILEI proved himself. I said on Twitter that he can cause HRGOVIC some issues. I didn't detail why, but after losing his old man not too long ago, I was wondering what kind of headspace HRGOVIC would be in. Added to that, he hasn't impressed as a pro to me 6 years in from winning a bronze in the 2016 Olympics. Zhang had him on the canvas from an overhand right in the first round. Now, it was a strange punch. It seemed like it pushed HRGOVIC down more than knocked him down. But HRGOVIC seemed a little unsteady. He didn't seem to dispute he had been hit by something heavy. So if it was a push, Zhang got very heavy arms. Big Chinese man. Hey, it was a good fight. It was a good fight. HRGOVIC is smart. He's not a stupid guy. He's not prideful. He didn't think because he was the big favourite to knock Zhang out, all of a sudden he's on the canvas and Zhang is pushing the action. He didn't think, oh, well, I have to put him in his place. No. Zhang has got painfully slow feet, and HRGOVIC used his quicker feet and boxed on the move for big portions of the fight. Zhang tagged HRGOVIC with some big shit all the way through. HRGOVIC had his moments, and in the late rounds, he was getting the better of the exchanges, and you was wondering if Zhang's gas tank was going to hold out. The scorecards, I didn't score. Looked like it could have went either way to me, though. So after waiting so long for HRGOVIC to get that eliminator, he gives us a good fight. But a lot of people post-fight are asking how good is HRGOVIC, because some had him as a sure thing, and he may well be. Are there question marks on his punch resistance, although he took the shot and he got up and he fought on? Or are we underestimating Zhang a little? Is he a little better than billed? It looks like he had some medical issue against Jerry Forrest, the way he faded out. But he faded in this one too, so he is in his late 30s, so the gas tank might be an issue. But my lord, he impressed. He did impress when he was bullying HRGOVIC and landing big shots, having HRGOVIC breaking off the exchanges. He impressed. He did impress. HRGOVIC, he showed some boxing ability. He adapted, so he has to be given some credit. This was a good fight. Very good addition to the card. I enjoyed it. Everybody's talking about Fury, Usyk, undisputed, and who knows what the negotiations are going to bring up. There could be rematch clauses in there. There could be all types of obstacles stopping HRGOVIC getting an immediate shot. He needs to be more active. He didn't look as sharp as some of the people who have been touting him would have liked. So he needs to get active. There's some good fights out there. And him being hooked up with Eddie, he can get some of them as well. They're talking about Zhang versus Chisora. He ain't done yet. Zhang seemed to be very encouraged by his performance, and he should be. He should be. Derek's prepared to go to China to make that fight. It's a very good fight. Why not? Watch that overhand right though, Derek. The man can hit. I can say Usyk was boring, knowing that I've bought at least 3 or 4, or at least 3 of his pay-per-views. Now, you never heard me say he was boring at cruiser. I said he was boring at heavy. Clever, but boring. Will he be a Hall of Famer? Yes. Is he one of the pound-for-pound greats? Yes. And here's the thing. If he's in the right matchup, I will buy his pay-per-view. I will buy his pay-per-view. But I'm telling you now, listen, I wasn't really talking from my perspective. Although I did think the last performance was boring. Yeah, I did. But I'm talking from the perspective of America and other territories around there. They're not going to gravitate to that style of boxing. And it's all right you saying, oh, but you made this argument about this and that. They're not gravitating to it. I'm telling you now, America ain't fucking with Usyk, bruh. It's as simple as that. They didn't fuck with the Klitschko's. And even more so, they're not going to fuck with Usyk. It's simple as that. Some people compared him to Floyd Mayweather. Oh, yeah, well, you're a Floyd Mayweather fan. He was boring. Floyd was boring against Pacquiao because Pacquiao didn't know what the fuck he was doing, right? If you're going to tell me that Floyd versus Cotto, Floyd versus Mosley, Floyd versus Canelo, Floyd versus Judah, if you're going to tell me them fights are boring, you don't know fuck all about boxing. All you're doing is jumping on the internet, jumping on the bandwagon, jumping on the back of all them memes that you've seen, but you don't know fuck all about what you're talking about. You really don't. And it's as simple as that. Then someone said, oh, if you don't think Usyk is a great heavyweight, then AJ isn't a great heavyweight. Well, let's start here. I never said AJ was a great heavyweight, never. And if you quote from somewhere where I've actually said that, I must have been tripping. I've never said AJ was a great heavyweight. And the arguments that some people put up are so easy to deconstruct. Okay, let's start with this. And let me start by saying AJ is nowhere near as good as Larry Holmes. He isn't, right? So before anyone makes a comparison, oh, you're saying AJ's like Larry Holmes. No. I'm saying Michael Spinks jumped up from light heavy and outpointed Larry Holmes, who held the belt for how long? Was it 7 years? Controversial decision. And then he done it again. 2 controversial decisions. And then he fought who they would call a Eurobum today in Stephen Tankstead, and a washed up Jerry Cooney, and got 2 stoppages, and then got knocked out by Mike Tyson in 90 seconds. Michael Spinks is one of the all-time great light heavyweight champions. There's no doubt about that. But because he beat Larry Holmes twice, controversially, does that mean he's a better heavyweight than Larry Holmes? No. AJ has brought way more excitement and money into the division than Usyk could ever, into boxing itself, than Usyk could dream of. Does that mean he's a better fighter? No, of course not. But Usyk has a lot more to do to endear himself into the discussion of the great heavyweight champions. Way more. Now, if Usyk beats Fury and becomes undisputed, huge feat, huge accomplishment. And even if he does it in a way that's not appealing or exciting, people have to acknowledge and take notice. But at the same time, if he does beat Fury in a way that's clever but not concussive and not exciting, America are not going to gravitate to it. They're not going to gravitate to it. Maybe when they can get a challenger ready to challenge him, then they'll make some noise, but they're going to ignore it. But he's not moving the radar over there. But like I said yesterday, they're not interested in impressing the Americans, which is a good thing. They've got the Ukraine. They've got Europe. I think Usyk could even be successful in the United Kingdom. He won the Olympics here. He beat Tony Bellew here. Team Usyk no longer have no promotional ties to Eddie Hearn. And he'll probably sign a deal with ESPN, Top Rank, 2 free fight deal. That's if they make the fight. With Tyson Fury, it's kind of like, wait for more confirmation. Wait for something more official before you even start getting excited about an undisputed fight. The issue some of you have is you can't compartmentalize. Sometimes you don't get everything. You could be a brilliant fighter who's not appealing. Gene Tunney will never be as loved as Jack Dempsey because he was what they called a scientific boxer. Jack Dempsey was wild, a brawler, a puncher. He had a rogue manager in Doc Kearns, married actresses. He was the all-American who all American boys wanted to be. Tunney was a scientific boxer a quote-unquote intellect. Hope I'm not quoting it out of turn, but he was a bit of a snob. He used to hang with people like George Bernard Shaw, a playwright, political activist and things like that. That's what he was into. And the American public never really gravitated to him. But he's a great heavyweight, or a great fighter. Now I've said that, is he a great heavyweight, or is he a great fighter? There's a big difference. There's a massive difference. He beat Dempsey twice, but he'll never go down as great a heavyweight as Dempsey. For a start, most of his bouts were fought at light heavy. Kind of like similar to Michael Spinks. Then there was the controversy about the long count against Dempsey. You don't get to get everything all the time. Just because you are a great boxer doesn't mean you go down as one of the more popular fighters of your era or a cash cow. Usyk would never have made the kind of money he made without Anthony Joshua. That's just facts. People think I'm going to conform and just start conforming with how the majority see fighters or fights or boxing. Whether it's supporting Tyson Fury or praising Alexander Usyk. What do you want me to say? I prefer Sonny Liston. That's my favourite heavyweight. I already said Usyk's a Hall of Famer. Modern day pound for pound great. What the more do you want me to say? What is it you want exactly? I've gave him his due. He's the unified champion. I don't rank him above Tyson Fury. I don't rank Tyson Fury above him. They have to fight for undisputed to settle it. It's as simple as that. I don't make videos to try and please everybody. And look, I look at AJ not being able to hit Usyk as consistently as he's hit any of his other previous opponents. And if you look at the damage AJ inflicted on Usyk in the first fight, and in this fight here, Usyk looks like a panda. All his eyes are bruised up. And I'm not taking that away from his performance. I'm telling you, all I'm doing is noting the difference that wasn't happening to him at cruiserweight. But at heavy, it's hard going. And I believe the weight class is taking its toll on him as a fighter. And that's my fucking opinion. I don't want to be hearing, oh, you're too hard and, oh, that's not fair. Fuck you. That's my opinion. If he was to go back 20 years, he wouldn't be out of place, size-wise. But as Daniel was telling me online just now, do you see the units that he's sparring with? He's sparring with big dudes. It's not just the AJ fights. It's all the sparring with them big dudes. And conditioning himself for heavyweight is taking a toll on Usyk as a fighter. That's why I'm saying I don't think he will be a long reigning champion. But if he proves me wrong, he proves me wrong. I don't get everything right, and I don't get everything wrong. I'm looking forward to the undisputed fight. I hope it happens. But I believe it will be a tedious affair. I believe that's how it's going to turn out. I'm going to purchase the pay-per-view regardless. You see, some of you are new jacks to the channel. I've already said, I used to make a habit of watching any fight, even boring fights, because sometimes you learn more from the boring fight. I'm talking the VHS days when I had a whole load of VHS tapes. And sometimes fights have to be boring. That's the strategy of warfare. Sometimes warfare is a laborious endeavor. It's not always over one strike or a couple of strikes. I want to see how it plays out. And I will pay to see how it plays out. That's the undisputed championship of the world. You guys want to have everything your fucking way. Because you like Usyk, you want to make him an exciting fighter. As a heavyweight, he's not exciting. He's not exciting. He's functional. Deal with it. You want to hear what you want to hear. You want to hear what you want to hear. I didn't say I was going to stop watching Usyk or paying for his pay-per-views. I said America and maybe other territories are not going to gravitate to it. And that's a fact. Like they didn't gravitate to the Klitschko's and took them off the networks. It's as simple as that. And since I've had this channel, I've spoke about HBO Showtime dissing the Klitschko's and taking them off the network and how it's affected their market and their development of fighters like Deontay Wilder. And I keep saying they shouldn't have took them off the network. I kept saying that on Setanta, on Sky, we kept watching the Klitschko's and they kept playing them. They kept broadcasting their fights. We didn't do what they did. And is it a coincidence? This is the most barren patch for American heavyweights, apart from Deontay Wilder, and arguably the most successful for Britain. And I'm talking from near the end of the Klitschko's reign to present day. And not just Brits, European fighters. There's more European prospects than American in the heavyweight division. You want to hear what you want to hear, right? This channel is for people who listen deeply and listen, and then you will get a better service from the channel. If you hear what you want to hear, go make your own videos and you can listen to what you want to hear from yourself all day. Peace.